Mm, 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 mm. Got hot sauce in my bag. Hey guys, it's me Saren back with another video. So obviously this is going to be a video on Beyonce's new song and her new video Formation. It's Sunday, so the video dropped yesterday, Saturday, February 7th. So by the time you guys watch this video, it will be Monday the 8th and the Super Bowl will be over and hopefully Cam Newton will be victorious and fucking cause these white people to lose their fucking shit. But I can't see into the future, so as of right now, it's Sunday morning and I'm filming this video on Formation. It was highly requested. A lot of you guys wanted to know what did I think about Formation by Beyonce. I like it. I really like the song, and you guys know I am not a Beyonce fan at all. I'm a huge Destiny's Child stan, but I'm not really a Beyonce fan like that. But I really like the song a lot, and I really did love the video. I thought it was a great video. Beyonce's video treatments are always really interesting, but unfortunately, a lot of the times they're also stolen, which we'll get to at a certain point in this video. But just off top, I really enjoyed it. My first thought when I was watching the video and listening to the song was like this kind of like industrial R&B sound is like the new hotness, which was the same thing I thought when I was listening to Anti by Rihanna when Anti came out like last week or like a couple weeks ago. I thought the same thing. This is like industrial R&B. It's kind of like this with Rihanna it's not semi, it is deconstructed. It's like on this Beyonce song it's kind of more semi deconstructed, but like on Anti it's like a deconstructed hard industrial sound on a lot of the songs. And listening to Formation I kind of got that same feel, this kind of industrial R&B, which I really like it. Even though like I said Beyonce's song is not as deconstructed, it's still relying on some trap sounds, that bass heavy influence. It kind of gave me, especially towards the end when that beat switched up and some horns got put in there, it was kind of giving me like Outkast, like CeeLo Green kind of vibes, which I really enjoyed. I loved seeing Blue Ivy in the video because I just stand for that child. Blue Ivy, I used to hate Beyonce. I used to like really despise Beyonce. And Blue Ivy was really like the first step in me like no longer hating Beyonce because I just live for Blue Ivy. Like I love that little girl. And I was just like, well, I cannot hate the person that brought Blue Ivy into the world, so I'm gonna have to get over it. So I loved seeing Blue Ivy. I loved seeing the two other little girls. I don't know if those are family or family friends or just two little girls that they cast, but I love seeing the three little girls, the little black girls together. I loved the commentary on keeping Blue's hair natural in the song. Like, I like my baby's hair with baby hair and afros, since that has been a point of contention ever since that little girl had fucking hair. Ever since hair grew on Blue Ivy's head, people have been saying like, oh, comb that girl's hair and do this to her hair and do that to her hair, which that in and of itself is a form of internalized anti-blackness that a lot of us are really grappling with. This idea that we have to do something with our hair, comb that hair, brush that hair, you know, gel that hair down, slick it back, you know. So I really liked that. I loved that aside from the white cop figures, there were 0 white people. All the dancers were black girls. You guys might remember that I had an issue with Bitch Better Have My Money by Rihanna for this reason. I thought it was way too many white people. Like the very first opening scene, we see this like white woman with this like dog, and that shit like really rubbed me the wrong way. So I loved that all the dancers were black girls. I love that. I found the Victorian Gothic influence to be really interesting. I know that that is really intrinsic and inherent to New Orleans. It was very Eve's Bayou, which we watched Eve's Bayou one time on Bees Bake. Bees Bake will be back next week. People have been asking me. Bees Bake will be back next week, guys. But yeah, I thought it was very Eve's Bayou, which works for Beyonce because Beyonce has that whole Creole thing happening. So I thought that the kind of Victorian goth stuff was really, really interesting. I love that kind of stuff, just me personally. So the clothes and the makeup and the dark lip and the hats and the muted colors, the white and the black and the burgundy, I loved all of that. I thought it was really, really, really interesting. And again, it's interesting because we call it like a Victorian goth influence, which sounds white, but in the context of New Orleans culture, Southern culture, Creole culture, you know, slave culture, the Garden District, the huge Victorian mansions, that's all wrapped up in our blackness, and that's not something that you see very often. You normally see that type of representation with white people, so it was really interesting to see that. I enjoyed watching it. I also thought that there was a really interesting play on words happening in terms of the term formation. Beyonce did keep saying, like, oh, now let's get in formation, and they, like, got in, like, the dance formation and, like, hit the choreography, which I also love the choreography, but I also thought there were a lot of references to Beyonce's formation as a black person. She mentions where her parents are from in the hook. She says, you know, they'll never take the country out of me. She has these hot sauce references. You know, she says, like, I like my Negro nose with Jackson 5 nostrils, which is ironic because she is contoured to the gods in that video, but that's a good quotable that I hope people start using about their noses, so I will let it slide. But there's a lot of, you know, really interesting wordplay on her formation, and on what led to her being the black person that she is today, and what led to a lot of us being the black people that we are today, especially if you are a black girl from the South, or if you are a, you know, a black boy from the South, because there were boys and men in the video also, and the formation of what formed us, our upbringing, where we're from, our background, our history. I thought there was a lot of really interesting subtext about formation and our formation, and I think a lot of people are we're not immediately catching that, but I thought it was really, really interesting. I'm from DC, which technically is the South, but I didn't grow up with a lot of like I'm not from Texas or anything like that, you know, but I thought it was a really interesting thing to include and kind of talk about, you know, these cultural influences that lead to our formation. I thought that was really interesting. I'll probably be thinking about that for a while. Maybe that will inspire a video on, you know, black formation. I love the scene where they're dancing in the hallway wearing the all red. Loved it. I need that outfit. I love the all white scene with her and the other girls. It's her and a bunch of like black girls like drinking tea, and they're holding fans and they're wearing these all white, again, these kind of Victorian slave era with these these gowns with these high necks and these long sleeves. And it gave me a real slavery vibe. They're in the house, you know, the mansion, and I know that scene is going to make people uncomfortable, which I love. Like, push those boundaries, make people uncomfortable. Again, very Eve's Bayou. It kind of gave me a Skeleton Key-esque, and I love that movie, Skeleton Key-esque kind of vibe. I loved that. I love the all black scene where she's standing on the porch with like 4 guys and they're all wearing all black and she has the hat. I loved the kind of goth scene where she's in the house with the corset and she's holding the umbrella. It was all very, very witchy, which I loved. It was very, you know, American Horror Story Coven meets Treme, New Orleans. It was very, you know, she was just serving me like Creole witch realness. And one of the last shots of the video, she does something like this with her hands, which I was like, oh, this bitch is casting a spell. Like, she is necromancing as we speak. She is raising the dead. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Again, I love the choreography, especially the big formation scenes. I love that all her girls were black. I love that they all had natural hair. I love that it was on a spectrum of shades, light skin and dark skin. I loved all that stuff. And I've been critical of some of Beyonce's choreography in the past, which I know you guys, please don't hate me. Because sometimes I feel like Beyonce can look like she's counting steps in her head. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, kick. I definitely didn't get that vibe. And I read that said that she's been practicing really hard and rehearsing really hard and especially trying to get this ready for the Super Bowl. So I definitely got the vibe that she that she had that body memory with the choreography. She wasn't thinking about it. So I loved seeing that. And I also, me personally, I loved the NOLA street scenes, the New Orleans street scenes, showing some of just the culture and the street life. I know some people didn't like that. I know I saw a lot of people talking about Twitter how they didn't care for it. They felt like her use of New Orleans was disingenuous and kind of exploitative. But I do have to say that her sister does live there, and she's lived there for a long time now. And we can't deny that Solange's fingerprints are like all over this shit. Like, all over it. Like, this was clearly, I don't want to say a straight up collaboration between Beyonce and her sister and you know, the producers, because everyone loves to act like, you know, these thoughts and ideas are just like birthed out of Beyonce's brain. But we obviously cannot deny that Solange's fingerprints are all over this video. And I think that she got the point across well. And I also personally enjoyed seeing that type of representation because, again, that's not something that you see very often, especially nowadays when, like I've talked about in my Gentrification Part 2 video, there's really this push to kind of remake, rebuild, rebrand New Orleans as this white, hipster, hippie, you know, up-and-coming town for young white people to go and you know, make something of themselves. So I think it's important that we keep seeing these scenes of Black people in New Orleans, that we keep seeing these scenes that feature a first line, that we keep seeing these scenes, you know, with the native people that live there, you know, dancing, you know, that we see them in there. I can't think of the word for the clothes, because she has a scene where this kid is like dancing with the clothes and the red and the feathers. I know one of you will know, so please leave it in the comments. You know, and I just feel like that's something that people are trying to erase. They're trying to rewrite history. They're trying to erase that. So I thought it was awesome to see that. There was a lot of symbolism in the video. There was a lot of water, which obviously the water had some huge symbolism for New Orleans post-Katrina and the flooding of the city. She drowned a police car at the end of the video. She has a hooded Black child dancing in front of cops, which has a lot of symbolism, a Black boy dancing in a hoodie. And there was joy there, which I loved. It wasn't just like a somber kid like standing in front of this like imposing line of like white cops. Like, he's dancing. You guys already know how I feel about Black joy as revolution. So I thought that was really, really, really poignant and important to see. And then at the end, when he finishes the dancing, he's standing there and the cops put their hands up. So you have like the cops in front of the Black child with their hands up, some intense symbolism there. Again, like the scene where the girls are in the house and they have the all white on, I definitely caught some slavery symbolism, like I said, that I know is going to make people really fucking uncomfortable. It kind of reminded me of the Lose Control video with Missy Elliot and Sierra and Fat Man Scoop, which I will include a link if you're too young and you don't know that video, which will make me so sad for you. But there's some real Black, unapologetically Black symbolism in the video that I did enjoy. Now, kind of getting back to what I was saying earlier about how people love to act like these, you know, video treatments and these concepts and these ideas just like burst out of Beyonce's head. And that's not the case. There have already been discussions on Twitter about various scenes being plagiarized from a documentary that some New Orleans natives made. I will include links in the description box if you guys want to read more about that, which wouldn't surprise me because Beyonce does steal a lot of her treatments. They are inspired. But I would be disappointed because I really do like this video. So I would be very, 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 very disappointed if it turns out that she did just like outright fucking plagiarize this shit. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be disappointed. But overall, I liked the video, and I did like the song a lot. I thought it had some really important imagery. Again, I felt it was all very unapologetically Black, and I hope to see that same vibe carry into tonight's halftime show. Like, I hope it's not some watered down performance. That would suck. I mean, by the time you guys watch this video, I will have seen the Super Bowl halftime show, so depending on how that goes, maybe I'll make a follow-up video, but for me, I liked it. I might even say I loved it. and I'm not a Beyonce fan, you know? So it at least appears on the surface that, you know, Beyonce and them have taken some of the criticisms to heart. So I liked it. I liked it. What did you guys think? A lot of you guys asked for this video. You wanted to know what I thought. So that's what I think. There will be lots of links in the description box. So please check the description box and let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Yeah, food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.